So remember when I was telling you guys that I needed this bed for my indeterminate tomatoes? Well, I came out the other day to check and see if the seed pods were finally ready to be harvested, and look what I found. They had dried seemingly overnight, and the wind, I think it was a windy, stormy night, blew the seed pods open and dispersed them all over the place. So what that tells me is God was giving me a helping hand. He said, I want you to have komatsuna and tatsoi and Chinese cabbage, spring crisp cabbage, all over the place for years to come, and I don't want you to have to think about it. So, to which I say, thank you, Lord. And I'm just going to pull these up and get my indeterminate tomatoes in the ground finally. Sometimes I pull the old plants up completely by the root, and sometimes I just cut them at the soil level. It just depends on my mood. Or how deep the roots run. Any old choir or theater kids singing Let the River Run in your head right now? Or is it just me? Okay, just me. A little bit of bagged potting soil that I had there had been sitting for a while. And it's always a good idea to go through it, because I'm finding these little guys in their very young state. Little green bug right there. There's one there. Oh, I'm not sure if the camera's picking up on him. There's one right there. They're all over this soil. So I may have to scoop this back out and use something else. This is just a little bit of soil. Since I had it, I was going to use it. But there seems to be an infestation of these little guys all over. And they're in the beginning of their life cycle. And I don't want to give them free room and board. So let me go ahead and take this stuff out. It's another reason why trying to make your own compost is really important, because you know what's in it. Not saying that you can't have an infestation of bugs in your homegrown compost, but I don't even know what those bugs were. I'm not going to spray for them or anything like that. I'm just going to get rid of that soil. It was just a little bit. The other thing is that soil was not a local source, which is probably why I've never seen those particular bugs. So I don't want to introduce a bug that's not even native to the area into my ecosystem. I do have some Daddy Pete's products, is what I've grown to enjoy since moving here to North Carolina. It is a North Carolina brand, and it seems to work really well for me. They have a bunch of different types. Honestly, I am not a soil biologist, and I have used several of the different types, and I don't have an opinion. I don't have a strong opinion on one type versus the other. Today I'm going to be using some of their potting mix and cow manure mixture. So that's what I'm going to do today. Man, there were a lot of those things everywhere. Jeez. I should have looked in the bag before I poured it out, because that bag's been sitting here for months. Dang it. Don't you hate when you know better but you don't do better? I'll put some worm castings. Meal. Little blood meal, not too much. Too much nitrogen and you'll have an aphid issue. So I mentioned to you guys that I prefer to prepare my beds a few days in advance, or amend them sometimes weeks in advance, just to give the soil a chance to get acclimated, get those healthy bacteria to get inoculated in the soil, and have everything working in harmony. And that is usually what I like to do, but sometimes it can't wait. My tomatoes are so leggy, so vitamin depleted, because I did not fertilize them in the last 2 weeks, and I've just been a bad tomato plant mommy, and I am admitting my faults. So please don't judge me when you see these tomato starts. Yes, I do know better. I think that's what I should title this video. Know better, but I didn't do better. Oh well, I'm gonna get them planted right now. So I thought I was filming making this concoction, but I wasn't. So I'm just gonna go over with you what I did. I'm using a secret sauce recipe from Rachel over at the 1870s Homestead, And what she suggested was one pint of milk with a few tablespoons of molasses. Warm it up, or I've had it out for about a day, just kind of fermenting and warming up and getting everything in balance. And I put half of this pint container into a half of a bucket of compost, mixed it with water until it came to a pancake batter consistency. This is a little bit of a loose pancake batter consistency. I think I may need a little bit more compost, but that is the secret sauce. And when you guys see the state of my poor tomato seedlings, you will see they need all the secret sauce they can get. So thank you, Rachel, over at 1870s Homestead, for sharing this recipe with everyone, and I hope it helps my tomatoes as much as it helped yours. Thanks. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Yes, I know better. I know better, but I didn't do better. Okay, these are the things I know better. I know that my cherry tomatoes are the first things to ripen. As far as tomatoes, they're the first things to ripen in my garden every year, and I've been growing tomatoes for years. And I know that I need to get them in the soil and out of these seed starting pots. I know that I'm not supposed to let them get flowers on them before putting them in the soil. I know that I'm definitely not supposed to let them get full-on tomatoes before they get into the soil. And I know that I'm supposed to feed my starts every 2 weeks or so that they don't get yellow and sad like this. I know better. So you do better, because I didn't. So those are the things that I know better and should have done and didn't. It's just been a very, very crazy spring. Like many of you, life happens. And you know what's funny? I noticed I didn't have as many pollinators as I usually do by this time this spring. I kid you not. I brought these guys into the garden from the hardening off area. There were baby bees buzzing all around like, where have you been? You've deprived us of our cherry tomatoes. What is wrong with you, woman? So there's no scientific fact behind that whatsoever. It's just what I experienced today. So I know better, and I'll do better. Let's get these babies into the ground. can see, I had several plants that had more than one seedling in the container, so I separated those. I will find homes for those, but at least I've gotten these 2 varieties of cherry tomatoes and 2 varieties of slicers in the ground. So I've got sweetie tomatoes here and here, Sunrise Bumble, these are my favorite, here and here, Kellogg's Breakfast in these 2 slots, and Dr. Witchy's in those 2 slots. So that is it for today. I feel so much better getting these guys into the ground. They're going to be beautiful before you know it. And you guys go and have a beautiful day too. Bye, everybody.